Hey everyone, how's it going? Chris with Mallick Plumbing here. Today we're at one of our recent customers' homes where we recently converted them from a power vented natural gas water heater, and now they have a hybrid electric heat pump water heater. And we'd like to show you what some of the advantages and installation process is like. A lot like a standard electric water heater, the unit does have two 4.5 kilowatt elements, one at the top, one at the bottom, that will heat the water as needed, depending on which mode you run it in. As well as the standard elements, you will have a heat pump on top, which does have coils that come from the compressor that wrap down all the way around the tank, where it utilizes the room temperature to aid in heating the water, depending on which mode you're going to run the unit in. The unit does have 4 modes to run in. You're going to have hybrid, heat pump, electric, and a vacation setting. Obviously the vacation setting is going to be for when you do go out of town, so it's not going to sit there and heat the water as it's not needed. Then the hybrid mode will utilize the elements and the heat pump to heat the water depending on your call for water. And then you're also going to have heat pump mode, where it's strictly going to heat the water with that coil around the tank and the compressor on top. And then obviously the electric mode will just be for the elements to operate. The benefit in the dual systems are, if the heat pump does fail, you can just switch it over to electric mode and it will continue to heat the water like a standard electric water heater. If you do operate it in the hybrid or heat pump mode, it is going to produce condensation, as it does condense the room air, like I stated, which you will see the drain line here, where it is going into a newly installed drain line we put on the sewer stack nearby. Another benefit of these units are the leak detection sensor that's going to be at the bottom here. So if there is ever any leaks that do occur, through the app, the water heater will notify you. Another add-on we put on this water heater was a mixing valve, so it gives you about 25 to 40% more hot water out of any tanked water heater it is installed on. So we set the internal water temperature to 140 degrees, where it then mixes the cold water with that hotter water to let the tank water last longer. Unlike a standard electric water heater, these units do have a reduced carbon footprint and are highly energy efficient when ran on the heat pump or hybrid mode, where it will be utilizing a lot less of the electricity from your panel, because it is going to be working with the room temperature that it is in, with the compressor on top and the coil that is wrapped around your tank. Along with all the energy factors, there are some great rebates that are available through your utility provider, as well as tax credits at the end of the season. Depending if you're on Pepco or Potomac Edison, it's about $700, and then they are also eligible for up to $2,000 for tax credits. While we've had the pleasure of being able to discuss the advantages of the hybrid electric water heaters, there are some disadvantages people like to say, but we more so prefer to call them differences, because they are unlike a standard electric water heater. So with the heat pump being on top, they do make a little bit of noise. It's more so about 45 to 55 decibels when it is running. With the heat pump running, like I stated, it is going to produce condensation through the manufactured drain port here, where if you do not have a drain that's accessible nearby, you will have to accommodate that. Luckily on this style heater, this is a smart model, so it does have manufactured wires coming out of the side, so you can hook up a condensate pump and pump it to wherever the location of your choosing. Another factor that sometimes can come into play is the size of the unit. This specific model is about 69 inches tall and 24 inches wide, so you will need to accommodate for the height really, and if you've got a really narrow closet, it might not work there either. This is an 80-gallon model, so the 50-gallon models will come in a little shorter and not as wide. Just like any regular water heater, manufacturer is going to recommend that you drain it once a year, which you will be able to at the boiler drain below the bottom element. Along with that, with the heat pump being on top, it does pull in that room air, so we will need to make sure that we take this filter out and clean it about every 3 to 6 months. It's just as simple as either running it under a sink or cleaning it with a vacuum and then making sure it's nice and dry and getting it right back in there. Simple as that. All right, well, thanks for joining us today. I know we did cover a lot, but if there is anything I missed, feel free to give us a call at 301-840-5861. Feel free to ask for Chris directly or speak to any of our highly trained technicians.